The way that you say I love you to another guy is don't be a fucking pussy.
Right. Which
like,
that just doesn't compute
it means
my
I care
brain.
enough about you to tell you the truth and, to be on your side. But it's not taken in the wrong way, man to man. Just even understanding, I think the first time I really understood masculine and feminine energy, or even this concept at all, besides of thinking some woo-woo thing about it, was when I went to a Tony Robbins seminar and he was talking about, he did one of the days on masculine and feminine energy, and it was an eye-opening thing because most people don't know. They don't understand that masculine energy, they think is just like you said, is that masculine energy is anger, rage, kicking through things, like forceful, right, my way or the highway type of thing. And that's just called it being immature.
Yes.
All right. So we're talking about The Way of the Superior Man, the book that we've talked about quite a few times on this podcast, I think.
Mostly you, because I hadn't read it.
Yeah, that's
before.
true, because you hadn't read it. So
But now I have.
Yes, Nicole has read the book. So yeah. So what are your thoughts about the book, first of all?
I liked that he wrote it from a very spiritual, loving perspective, because I feel like men need more of that, honestly. Especially, I feel like it's very important to write a book like this about being masculine from that perspective, because a lot of men who maybe haven't been in their masculine think that it's very abrasive and harsh and, mean, or, this kind of like aggressive, like masculine, like this dark masculine, I guess you would say.
Sure, right.
That's what they kind of think in their head. And I feel like a lot of men do end up kind of going the wrong way sometimes if they don't have the proper knowledge like this book has, where you need to come from a masculine place out of love rather than like this aggression or anger or, like being an asshole or whatever they think that being a man, like a true manly man or masculine man means. I feel like he does a great job of explaining what like every woman wants in a man, which is like, he's tough, he gets his stuff done, but he has a very like loving, pure heart that he makes all his decisions from. And like, it's hard to put into words, but like that's where he comes from. Right. And so it also kind of lessens some of the more, I guess, harsh and abrasive things that a man has to do anyway, like, protecting or providing. It's like those are very like, from a woman's eyes, very like straightforward, sort of, disciplined things that, knowing that they come from a place of love, I feel like that is very beneficial to hear as a woman, that he's teaching men to do that, because I feel like you don't hear, I hear that from you and what you teach other men. Right. And I know you got a lot from this book, I'm sure, when you read it, but that message, I feel like you don't hear a lot today. I feel like it's not the popular message. I feel like the popular message is all this anger and hate in men. And so that was like really refreshing to see that where he wrote basically the entire book from. Now, some parts were still pretty like abrasive and harsh, and you're like, well, he wrote it for men, and like I understand that. So I did only give it 4 stars though, because it was a little
4 stars
abrasive at times. Okay. But I'm a woman, so it's not.
But how would you rate it in terms of for men?
For men, 10 stars out of 5.
Yeah. Okay. Because that's what it's not meant for women to read.
Look, I'm just saying, if people go on my Goodreads, it's gonna have 4 stars because I'm a woman. And I already told you that it was at times a little abrasive, but you were like, it's from a perspective of teaching men, so I get that.
Well, remember, I told you the way that you say I love you to another guy is don't be a fucking pussy. Right. Which like, that just doesn't compute it means
my
I care
brain.
enough about you to like tell you the truth and to like, to be on your side. That's what it, but it's not taken in the wrong way, man to man.
But see, if a woman was told another woman that, it would be
or if a woman told
fight.
A man that, that's no.
Right.
Absolutely
so
not.
It's
Absolutely
just a
not.
different perspective for me, but I do think every man should read it.
Right.
Because it's the core of what every man should be and where he should come from as a man. Yeah. So I did think it was really good. It was better than I thought it was going to be. And again, I think because I was expecting it to be a little bit more abrasive. Yeah. And, kind of in your face about some of the stuff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. Yeah, it was very,
it's a very
spiritual.
book. Yeah.
Which I liked. We're very spiritual. So, and I feel like it helps put into perspective the purpose of men.
Yeah.
From this divine place.
Right.
Because I don't think men realize the gift and the beauty of being a man. But he shows you that. Like, I would say that he shows you the beauty of being a man.
Yeah,
And maybe as a man, you don't want to see the beauty of it. But in some ways, if you're coming from this loving place, you do want to see the beauty of being a man. You want to see the beauty of what you can accomplish and what you can do that a woman can't necessarily do. Like,
exactly.
Women have become very masculine, but we still don't come entirely from a place that men come from. And like the things that, like you said, like even just telling a guy like, suck it up or something like that is a loving, endearing thing. Like that a woman would never comprehend that as a loving, endearing thing. You know what I mean? So I thought it was a good book. Like, I was pleasantly surprised.
I'm glad, because I recommend it as one of the top books for men. So I'm glad that you see the value and you can see the lessons that I've learned it in my life and that how it's helped me and apply. I mean, the first time I read this book, it was eye-opening for me, just because I hadn't thought about a lot of things that way. I mean, just even understanding. I think the first time I really understood masculine and feminine energy, or even this concept at all, besides of thinking some woo-woo thing about it, was when I went to a Tony Robbins seminar, and he was talking about, he did one of the days on masculine and feminine energy, and it was an eye-opening thing, because most people don't know. They don't understand that masculine energy, they think is, just like you said, is that masculine energy is anger, rage, kicking through things, like forceful, my way or the highway type of thing. And that's just called it being immature and emotionally immature.
Right.
Whereas masculine energy is pushing through barriers, focused, logic, reason, strength, power, it's the immovable rock, Whereas the feminine energy is more flowing, it's more soft, it's more in the present moment, it's more of what we consider like mindfulness and in yielding instead of pushing through, just like we were talking about before, the empathy of caring about all the little things, everyone needs to be, it needs to be fair, it needs to be these are both valuable, but they're not, it's not that, a woman is more emotional, but she can be in the dark feminine and be angry and be, a man can be acting feminine by allowing his emotions to control him in a negative way or in a positive way. He can, be a guy that is very feminine because he just wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's just ends up becoming that stereotypical nice guy that just spills all of his emotions all over everyone, but this book really makes very clear of what it is to be men. And I would say that the big way that I would describe it is being unfazed. So
I was going to add that I liked that it's not about changing women. And I'm not saying that in a way that women don't have things to work on and grow and take accountability for. But I really liked that was not his focus in this book. It's not about change your woman. It's not about, fix her emotions. It's not about those things. It's more about don't allow her stuff to dictate your actions.
Right.
Which I feel like is a very, just emotionally mature thing in general that everybody needs to learn to do, but especially a man, because if you're going to sit here and tell me that you're more logical than emotional, then as a man, you should be able to not allow my emotions to affect you or what I'm doing to affect you. You should be able to have that division and not treat a woman differently, not stonewall her or ignore her or whatever. He never said any of that. If anything, he said, if her emotions are blazing, then to love on her and to hug her or make the situation lighter. And because he really understands that women like you said, are very fluid. And like, if
Yeah.
she's upset 1 minute, that doesn't mean she's going to be upset 5 minutes from now if
Yeah.
you do it the right way.
Exactly.
You know, and he doesn't put all the responsibility on men for women's emotions and things like that. But he highlights that you do make a difference in a woman's life and emotions by the way that you handle things.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I really liked that he didn't focus on that it's a woman's fault. Because so much is focused on it's a woman's fault.
Right.
But if you really think about what makes a man a good man, in my mind, it comes up that no matter who is trying to affect him, he's not moved.
Right. Exactly. Unfazed. Yeah.
Like not in the way that he doesn't learn from others.
Right.
Because that's also different.
It doesn't change his inner.
Right. It's because he does a really good job of being like, you always need to learn and grow as a man.
Right.
But don't allow anyone to rock you into a place that you don't want to be.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was also very, like, a good perspective you don't hear very often.
Even in